You know, we know Spirit's in this place, right? Because all of you are in this place. I'm Reverend Barbara Novak, and happy to welcome you to the Center for Spiritual Living. And we are beginning our Get Wise speaker series this summer. And so I want to welcome our guest speaker, Dr. Chris Michaels, who is here from Kansas City. And I would also like to welcome anyone who's new to the center today, or maybe it's your first couple times coming. We'd really like to welcome you, so let's give our newcomers a warm welcome. If you are a newcomer, or if you are someone who wants to update their information, we have a connection card for you to fill out. And on the back of it, we have what you might be interested in here at the center so that we can get in touch with you and address that. And the other thing we do is we send out a weekly spiritual practice. So if you'd like to become part of our weekly spiritual practice where we join together as community to know the truth of life, and we all know where the power is great where two or more are gathered, and we can expand that into the universe because we are the power, right? So sign up if you'd like to receive that. We won't sell your name or anything like that. We'll make sure it stays protected. And what you can do is you can pick it up in the offering basket when it comes by, and either deliver it to one of us who have a name tag, or put it in the plexiglass box that is out these doors and to the left at the welcome table. And we have a tradition here, and it is to celebrate birthdays. Why? Because Spirit is in the house, and it is you, and everyone is important. So if it is your birthday today, or near today, please stand because we have a gift for you. Oh, Jennifer, Christine. And so part of our mission here at the Center for Spiritual Living is to create a better world. And so one of the ways we do that is to give financial donation to local organizations who are doing good in our community. And how we do that is by your nominations of those communities. So to nominate a community, if you go out these doors and immediately to your left, there's the Create a Better World table, and you can let them know of an organization that's doing good in the world that we can send $100 to. And we do that weekly, starting in the fall, and we recognize them here in church, so everybody gets to hear about them as well. So that's a wonderful thing. We love to create a better world.
So continuing in prayer, let us set the intention to allow the fullness of Spirit into our awareness right now, knowing that the source is always present when we allow it. The infinite love, wisdom, peace, and harmony of Spirit is always available when allowed in. So let's take a few moments now to experience that within us. And coming back, I invite you to make a habit of taking these moments to allow that presence within. And so it is.
So, yes. So, and today is Pride Day. Yeah. So a couple things about that. One is that I was checking it out this morning, and 1 million people are walking in parades in New York City. And we actually have one of our members walking in a parade in Mexico City. And here there is as many as 100,000 people that are gathering right now as we speak. Praise God. I know. Isn't that wonderful? And you know, it's also wonderful too. Reverend Michael was reminding me that 2 years ago, we were invited to be the Grand Marshals, and we're the only church here in Seattle that has been invited to do that. So, yeah, isn't that wonderful? Okay, so now what I really want to do coming up this time is introduce Dr. Chris. And I met him this morning, and what I want to say before I tell you what his background is that this morning it was fabulous to meet him. He was meeting lots of people, and what I loved about him was that he is a curious person about others. Every one of us had something to say, and as we said it, it led him to a question to ask us so that he would get to know us better. So he's friendly, and he also had us laughing in between every little conversation we had. So it was very friendly and fun to get to know him this morning. So in addition to that loveliness is that Dr. Chris Michaels is a life coach, national speaker, and author. And he founded the Center for Spiritual Living in Kansas City, Missouri. Yep. Yes. In 1990, and has served as its director for more than 20 years. As an educator and counselor, he has helped thousands of people understand the basic spiritual principles that govern life. And with decades of study into the philosophies and spiritual nature of humankind, Dr. Chris is a leading authority on the new global spirituality movement. He has co-authored several daily journals, and they're called the Practice the Presence, The Prosperous Life, and Spirit is Calling. And his first book is called Your Soul's Assignment, and his new book is called The Power of You. And it is available both in bookstores and also on Amazon. So a little side note about that. The bookstore is a wonderful place to purchase it. But should you purchase it on Amazon, if you go to our website and press Amazon, then any order you do for Amazon gives back some proceeds to the church here in the center. And some people were discovering that and saying, oh, you need to tell us that that's happening. So I'm telling you now. Yes, it's good to know, right? And in addition to his Dr. Chris being here today, he's also going to be doing a workshop this afternoon called The Power of You. And tickets are available in the bookstore. He is offering the workshop so that you can discover more to self-accept yourself so you can be the greater expression. And the flyers out there have some wonderful things to say, and I love this about it. It said, the universe did not go to all the effort to organize your particular DNA and assemble your unique personality and breathe life into your soul for you to be dull and ordinary. There is a power lying dormant with you, waiting for your recognition and use. Isn't that true? We know that's true, right? Are we all letting it shine? Yes. Would we like to know how to let it shine more? Yes. So if that's so, then take the helm and sign up and get tickets at the bookstore for Dr. Chris's workshop this afternoon from 1:30 to 3:30. And without further ado, here is Dr. Chris.
Well, good morning, CSL. How you doing? You doing good? So before I get started here this morning, I want to commend you and your consciousness for attracting to yourself and keeping in the house one of the world leaders in the New Thought movement, Dr. Kathy Ann Lewis. I don't know what's in your consciousness, but you need to keep it there because she's doing a great job. I love her. Happy Pride Weekend. I'm going to go ahead and stretch here and tell you I'm gay. What? The hair in the outfit didn't give it away? I am living proof that we are everywhere because I live in Kansas. Yes, Dorothy, there really are gays in Kansas. Have you ever been to Kansas? Anybody ever been to Kansas? Look at you people, you're cracking me up. What the hell were you doing in Kansas? Do you know on your license plate, do you know what it says in Washington, what your license plate says? Do you not know? It says Evergreen State. Do you know what it says on the Kansas license plate? Flyover State. Flyover. Oh, but I'm there by right of consciousness, and that's a whole other story. So, Wednesday morning, this past week, because I got here on Friday, at 6 a.m., 6 o'clock in the morning, every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I did the same thing I always do. I got out of bed and I went to the gym. Now, the gym that I go to is really more like a country club, not like a serious gym like Gold's or anything. And at 6 o'clock in the morning, it's usually filled with soccer moms and businessmen that are getting their workout in before their work week begins. Now, here's the thing. When I go to the gym, it's not really a social event. I don't really want to chat with you. I don't want to make friends with you. I don't want to know your name. I'm there to work out and to get it over with, because the truth is, I really hate exercise. I hate it. If it were left to my lower self to make choices in my life, I would have stayed in bed late and only get up when you smell bacon. Yeah. But, like every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 6 a.m., my higher self says, Dr. Chris, that's what my higher self calls me. Dr. Chris, Dr. Chris, go to the gym. And so I did. I went to the gym, I listened, and I did my 1.5 hour workout. 1.5 hours, that's a lot. And so at the end of that, my special reward that I give to myself when it's all over, when I have worked through all the muscles and all that stuff, I go downstairs into the men's steam room and lie down to recuperate. So this past Wednesday, after my workout, a particularly intense workout, when I went into the steam room for my relaxing reward, there was a Neanderthal in my space. A Neanderthal in my space hanging out on the top step of the steam room with a towel too loosely wrapped around his waist. Yeah. And I call him a Neanderthal because he had more hair on his body than a Sasquatch. I'm telling y'all been looking for Bigfoot? I found him in Kansas. So there he was in my space, all hairy, all sweaty, on the shelf that I lay down on. And as I walked in the door, I see him there, and he goes, "Good morning, mate." Well, needless to say, I wasn't feeling very chatty because he's in my space, and I wanted to be in that space. And so I asked him to move over a little bit, let me at least sit on the top step next to him, because that's where the steam is the hottest. And he said, "Sure, mate. Sure, mate." So from his choice of words, from his accent, I'm assuming the man is from Australia, New Zealand, or something like that, because I seriously doubt he was considering me for a potential mate, which is probably a really good thing, because it's probably not where you should look for a potential mate in the steam room. The problem is, when this was happening, he didn't move over that much. Just enough to let me squeeze in next to him against the wall. Now, here's the thing. You don't know me, but I'm the type of guy that has large personal space requirements. I really do. I don't like people in my face so close that I can smell on their breath what they had for lunch that day. I mean, I just happen to need a lot of room, okay? But since I had inconvenienced him once, I didn't feel like I had the right to say, "Could you move over just a little bit more, please? Excuse me." But I really wanted to say that. I really wanted to ask him to do that. Because what happened next kind of grossed me out. I mean, really kind of grossed me out. So as I'm seated way too close to this guy, he hikes up his foot and he starts picking at his toenails. Yeah, and then he hikes up his other foot and he starts picking at his feet and his toenails. And then after he's done with that, I sort of move closer to the wall. I'm hugging the wall now. And then when he's finished playing with his feet, he shakes his head like this to let the sweat goes flying off of him, of course, in my body, on my body. And I'm a Virgo, and I like clean. Virgos don't clean things, we sterilize them. So I'm not liking somebody's body sweat falling all over me. And just as I'm about to say something, because I want to say something, I want to say, "You perfect expression of God, you." Just as I was about to say something horribly rude, he gets up, he walks out the door, and he says, "Good day, mate." Lord. So now you're thinking to yourself, why? Why is he sharing this story with us? Where is the spiritual lesson in this? Wait for it. Wait for it, wait for it. For it all to make sense, I have to tell you another story, so hang in there for a minute. Do you know about your lizard brain? You know about that? Technically, it's called the amygdala. And it's an almond-shaped nugget that sits at the temporal lobe of your brain. And its primary purpose in being there is to drive your behavior. It is an ancient survival mechanism left over by millions and millions of years of evolution, but it is nonetheless undeniably part of your physical makeup, and it can greatly and does greatly influence your decisions in life, even though you might be completely, and usually are, unconscious that it is driving your choices. All lizards have is an amygdala. That's why it's called a lizard brain. That's the composition of their entire brain, and it guides every single thing they do from instinct alone, the amygdala. I looked it up recently, and one scientist said, to put it simply, your lizard brain is hungry, scared, selfish, and horny. Now, imagine combining all those together. In your little brain, this might explain the restraining order you had on your ex probably in the 90s. That relationship that didn't work out. If you're hungry, if you're scared, if you're selfish and you're horny, how do you think you're going to act? Lovingly, compassionately? What kind of choices do you think you're going to make in your life? And what kind of life do you think you're going to have as a consequence of those choices? Your lizard brain says, my needs are more important than yours. I don't care what you want. I get what I want. When the lizard brain is driving your car on I-5, you know what you do? You cut people off in traffic. They try to merge to get on the freeway, but you don't let them. I've seen you. You wait. I'm going first. You flip them off. You curse at them. When the lizard brain is at work, when you go to work with the lizard, you compete fiercely with other people. You will claw your hands and climb your way to the top and walk over anybody and everybody that gets in your way. And if by chance the lizard brain takes you out on a Saturday night, here we go, baby. Let's just say it's not going to be good for somebody. Not going to be good for somebody, especially if you combine the lizard brain with alcohol. Not that I know, of course. The lizard is not holistic. He is scared. He is separated. He is isolated. He has zero compassion. Zero compassion. He doesn't understand what whole systems thinking is. He is just out for himself and himself alone. Now, it might be fun to date a lizard brain because, especially if you like drama. If you like drama, man, you need to get a lizard brain because you will have drama. But you must never, ever marry a lizard brain. Too late for some of you. Too late. I saw a woman go. Too late. Again, you're asking yourself, thinking to yourself, why? Why is he sharing this story? And how does it relate to the hairy man in the steam room? What is that about? Well, let me piece it together for you. You have a higher self and a lower self. The higher self is the lover. It is that capacity that resides within you to love beyond what you could ever imagine. It is the dreamer of the biggest dream that you could imagine. It is the visionary Your higher self has deep compassion. It sees the oneness of all life. It recognizes each other as the same higher self. It's the one that brings you here to church on Sunday mornings, the one that greets everyone with a namaste. That which is sacred, that which is holy, that which is divine in me sees and recognizes that which is sacred, holy, and divine in you. I see you. It is your spiritual self. It is that part of you that should drive your choices and guide your actions. And notice I said should. But then there's the lizard. And we all know what he wants. He's reactive. He's aggressive. He is totally narcissistic and completely self-absorbed. He represents your lower self, and the choices that he will make in your life will always, always, always get you into trouble. Always. Now, I don't know how to explain this. Call it what you will. It doesn't really matter what you call it. This seeming contradiction. Say it's about evolution. Say about it's whatever it is. It might be the contradiction of a pure and perfect, holy spiritual being, as one poet said, trapped inside a dying animal body. But whatever you call it, it is still part of your nature. And that means you got to deal with it. And not only do you have to deal with it, you have to deal with it every single day. Every single choice you make with every person you encounter, you are either driven by your higher self or your lower self. Obviously and clearly, when I was in the steam room, I was using my lizard brain. That guy was in my space. I didn't care what he wanted. I wanted him to get out on my space so I could be more comfortable. I just wanted him to leave. Get out of my way. My needs are more important than yours. Now the good news is, finally, through lots of trial and error, and through getting myself into lots of deep trouble over the years, I have learned, finally, to keep my lizard's mouth shut. Shut. So I didn't say anything rude to him, even though I really wanted to. I sat there with my mouth shut. Do you know I've been in this teaching for 25 years? In 25 years, I've learned one thing very clearly. You know what it is? I have learned that sometimes the best response is no response at all. Sometimes the most loving thing that you can do, the most compassionate thing that you can do is to say nothing and do nothing. Remember that. It's particularly good advice if you're going to a family reunion. Say nothing, do nothing. I want to tell you the truth. The truth is, you and I come from the same stuff. We are the same, all of us. And every day you have to make a choice, whether to act or to react. Every day you have to make the choice whether to use the power of your higher self to lift other people up and this planet, or act like a lizard and put them down. And believe it or not, I'm telling you about that choice because it is the most important choice that you make every single day. Do you know why? Because it determines exactly how much good is going to come back into your life. So you can give up your beseeching prayers to some deity you think lives on high, that is watching what you do and really interested in what you're doing in the bedroom, and decide how it likes you to deliver something good to you. You can stop beseeching some distant deity. You can stop posing for Jesus if that's what you think you're doing. Because let me tell you something. Every single thing that is good that comes into your life comes into it from a simple fundamental spiritual law that says what you give to others will be given to you, and what you withhold from others will be withheld from you. When Oscar Wilde was on trial in Victorian England for being a homosexual, it's reported that the prosecuting attorney took one look at him in the witness stand and said, "Mr. Wilde, you disgust me. Your entire life has been lived in the gutter." To which Oscar replied, "My dear sir, we are all in the gutter. Some of us are looking up at the stars. And therein lies your daily challenge. You are in the gutter. We are all in the gutter. The gutter of human life that has such a monotonous pace that it puts us slowly to sleep. The gutter of human life that has an internal race consciousness conversation that says, start accepting less. It's time to start accepting less. You don't deserve it. We are in the gutter of human life, and let your destiny lies in the stars. You're a light being, not a clump of clay. You belong to the universe. And so you must keep your vision there on the heavens, which is the highest possible good that you can imagine for yourself. And you must lose interest quickly in that conversation that says you're not good enough. You must lose quickly interest in the asphalt below you and the drama that surrounds you. You're more than the infection of your human experience, because we all get infected by being on this planet. You're more than what your body is. You are the soul that occupies and lives in it. You're the thinker thinking the thought, not the thought itself, the feeler feeling the feeling, not the feeling itself. You are the light of God making its entrance into this world. In the never again repeated in all of time and history, unique and powerful person that you are. So pick yourself up. Get the hell out of the gutter. And assume the post that nature has created for you. Assume the post. When you walk into a room, know that God enters that room as you, through you. Own yourself. Takes a lot of energy to be Chris Michaels. Sometimes after church, I have to go home and lay down. I didn't have a happy childhood. Can you tell? When I was a kid, I used to go to the movies a lot. They were my way of escaping an unhappy family life. And it would throw me into the adventure and the stories and the mysteries of other worlds. And I particularly liked science fiction films. I'm a big Star Trek geek, big time. I was so fascinated with the future, maybe because the present wasn't so great. And of course, this was way back in the day, way back in the day when you could still smoke in theaters. Does anybody here remember when you could smoke in a theater? Smoke in a theater, unimaginable today. You remember you used to be able to smoke on a plane? There was a little thing that said, this is a smoking section, or this is a non-smoking section on a plane. You know, having a non-smoking section on a plane is like having a no peeing section in the pool. Don't pee here. Go over there. Really smart. And I used to watch in the movies when I was a kid that blue haze, you know, that was created from the smoke that would come from the light in the theater. It came from the projector's booth in the back of the theater, that light that would shine in the blue haze of smoke. This was way back in the day before digital technology. You know, when movies were on actual film that ran through a projector and some great big light shined it onto a screen. And for some reason, really not clear to me then, but obvious to me now, I would follow that light back to the square little window that it came from the projector's booth. And I started to think about, as a little boy, about how the entire movie and all the drama that was unfolding in the screen before me came from thousands and thousands of tiny little images that were force-fed through a projector, adding light and color and motion to them. And so now you're thinking, what an odd child this Chris Michaels was. What a strange little boy he was. I mean, all the kids, everybody else is watching the movie in front of them, and I'm looking back at the projector. What's that all about? I don't know whether you missed this or not, but a few weeks ago in the news, it was reported that scientists have a new theory about how the universe is actually held together. The theory is absolutely nothing of what you see is real. There is no such thing as solid matter. It is, in fact, and in truth, a holographic projection. So everything that appears real, that you can see with your eyes and you have believed is solid and real in your life, all the billions of planets that we can see with our telescopes, the trillions of stars, all the galaxies, the supernovas, the black holes, are just like that movie screen that I watched as a kid, images being reflected on some screen by some great big light. Except, my friends, in this case, the imagery is three-dimensional. His Holiness the Dalai Lama was asked, do you understand the creation of the universe? Do you understand the Big Bang? And he said, yes, we understand Big Bang, but it's not bang, it's bang, bang, bang. We are just naive and egotistical enough to believe the universe in which we reside in is the first universe that's ever been created. What if it's not? What if it's the 10,000th one? What if it's the millionth universe that the universal intelligence has created? And what if it's sustaining them all at the same time in the same reality, layered over each other like an onion skin in some multi-dimensional reality? 20th century poet and playwright Eden Philpott said, the universe is full of magical things, patiently waiting for our wits to grow sharper. Maybe everything, every single thing that appears to have hurt you personally isn't real. Maybe all of the hardships that you have gone through, that you have paid your dues, are really just a storyline. A storyline, some drama that unfolds that serves the greater purpose of your soul's advancement. What if all the big dramatic things that have happened in your life, that moment in your life where you were brought to your knees and said, God, help me get out of this? What if that, the loss, the death of a loved one, somebody you love more than anybody else on this planet? What about the loss of a job that identified who you are, the diagnosis of some ridiculous life-threatening illness on this planet? What if none of it's real? What if none of it's real and you have absolutely nothing to fear? What if they're all just tiny little images being projected on some hologram called your life? And I really wonder what would happen to you if you turned your attention away from the drama, if you did what I did in the movie theater, if you turned back toward the light. Maybe the storyline would end, and the big thing that scared the hell out of you would vanish into thin air just like that. Maybe you have more power than you think you do. I propose that you do. I think you are way more powerful than you've ever imagined, my friends. I think you can say something is so, and it will be so. I think you can dream a dream, I think you can believe in it with all of your heart and it becomes solid mass. That's what my new book is about, The Power of You. It is about how your spiritual journey has brought you to the man you are today. It's about how all the personal challenges that you have been through in this entire life have brought you to the wise woman that you are right now, which, by the way, better equipped than ever at any time in history to lead nations. We need women to lead today. We have too much yang energy leading this planet. Men, I want you to take your yang, take hold of it now, and put it in your pocket, and leave it there for 100 years. I'm going to come back and let you know when it's time to let it out. Never before, listen to me, this is important, never before in all of human history has the time span between ideation and manifestation been so short. Never before. We are living in a time of vast opportunities, a new era of exciting creativity. The information age is over. Do you not understand that? It did not bring us enlightenment. We finally learned that more information and more access to information does not necessarily convert to greater wisdom. So only those who are conscious, alert, awake, and creative will succeed now. You're the only ones. Emerson said, each takes his own from the multiplicity that sweeps and circles round him. That multiplicity is the creative mind of God, and you live in it. You're no longer bound by the knee-jerk reactions of some lizard brain. Consciousness awakens and you rise. Rise. This is your time. This is your moment in history. Stop wasting it on low-life activities. You're conscious now. You're ready to assume the post that nature has created for you. Do you not understand there's work to be done on this planet? Systems are broken and crumbling. You're here to change the world, not just get a better parking space or a cuter boyfriend. An evolutionary code has been activated within us all, and we are finally coming into our power. So wake up and stay awake. And so ends the lesson. Thank you.
To call us deeply to who we are inside. And what a beautiful message for us to get the power that we truly are. So I'd like to call the ushers forward. And I'd like to restate how fabulous it was to meet Dr. Chris, and he will be at a table in the fellowship hall. If you'd like to meet him, he's delightfully connecting. And also, if you'd like to purchase the ticket for his workshop, you can do that also in the bookstore. And we have our drop-in connection circle that is meeting up in the living room, which is upstairs, and you take the stairs at this end of the lobby down here, and then across the lobby to the living room, and you'll be able to sit with people and get to know some people here. Another place where you can get to know people is in the fellowship hall, which are out these doors and through the breezeway and to the left. And then we also always have our Compassion for Loss group that meets in the Emma room. So if you're having any loss that you would like to be able to move, to be with your grief and also move through your grief and be supported by fabulous practitioners, that's in the Emma room, which is out these double doors and the next ones. And in the breezeway, you make a right-hand turn. Okay? So let's take a deep breath and take our gifts in our hand and bring them to our hearts. For what we know is that there is a power and presence that is the life essence of God. It is the spirit of life that is everywhere present and all-powerful and all-knowing. And it lives in, through, and as us. It is the power of you. The power of the presence that we are is the love. The words of peace. The heart that gives the beautiful hug or the handshake that makes the eye connection. that says, yes, I see you. We come here to the Center for Spiritual Living to remember this truth such that we may walk out and be and come from that higher self that Dr. Chris spoke of. And the gifts that we provide, the Center for Spiritual Living provides, we give it with great joy, wonderful insight. I give great thanks for this beautiful center and for all of its people, for the circulation of life here that is occurring is a blessing. It is a blessing to us to be a center so well thriving, and a blessing to each person here to be present to this wholeness and this truth of life that is the good. And so I bless each gift. I bless each one's life that it be prosperous in love and in peace, in joy, in good work, and the flow of good income. And I celebrate that circulation that we are, the power we are. I call it good and call it God, and so it is.